Namaste, Mira Nam, hey Matt. And that was for my Indian subscribers. What's up, Emram Hashmi? And right in front of me, we have a special box. We got the Honor 8X. This is a budget smartphone that just got announced in China about 3 weeks ago. But it's a special phone because it's $200. It's a $200 phone that's gonna reach potentially the majority of markets across the world. And we're gonna unbox it and see exactly what this phone has. Now obviously this is a demo unit, so you're not gonna get a flashy unboxing here, but we have the phone, which I'm gonna put off to the side for 1 second. And in the box, of course, we have some sort of fast charging brick and the cable that connects to it. What the heck? You gotta be kidding me. Look at this. Look at this ridiculousness. This cable, my friends, is not any ordinary cable. This is a cable from the past. We have here a micro USB cable. What's going on? Come on. I understand this is a budget device, but come on, at least put USB Type-C so I don't have to carry an extra cable around with me. A little ridiculous. Anyways, the phone itself is a 6.5-inch device. It's really big, which means you're gonna get a lot of screen real estate to watch your favorite movies. Now I need a moment of silence for the removal of the plastic. Ah, that sounds good, and look at those lovely reflections. Wow, I gotta admit, for a $200 device, this is a very attractive smartphone. I don't know too many budget devices that look like this. Most budget devices are made out of plastic and fall apart by the time you take it out of the box. To give you guys some context, here's the brand new iPhone XS Max and the Honor 8X. The Honor 8X is slightly taller, giving you some more tall lengthiness, kind of like, I don't know, Stretch Armstrong. And the iPhone XS Max happens to be a little bit wider. So to hold this in the hand is a lot easier to grip compared to this one, which obviously requires a bigger palm to rest in. Now, obviously the iPhone XS Max is a faster phone, so we're not gonna get into that, but this is $200, people, and it still has a notch. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's there. Now, they've done a good job with the screen real estate ratio, 84.7%, which is actually better than the Galaxy Note 9. I like the way it feels in the hand. The sides have this metal trim that goes around it. It reminds me of the trim that was on the iPhone 7 or the 8 Plus. That's how it kind of feels, like a nice, cool metal touch to it. The back, glass, which doesn't have wireless charging, which is kind of ridiculous for a phone this size. I think if you're gonna put glass on the back, you gotta own it up and stick in wireless charging. We have the fingerprint sensor, which is in a great spot. My finger rests naturally on it when I grip the phone. And we have 2 cameras, but don't get too excited about those cameras. The top one is your main shooter, but the second one only acts as a 2-megapixel depth sensor, so you're not gonna get any crazy zoom or wide types of shots when you take pictures with this. Now, obviously it's an AI camera, so you're gonna have those AI features built into it. So if you take a picture of the sky, it's gonna look a little bit bluer. If you take a picture of a flower, they're gonna bump up the contrast levels. Usually I don't like these things. Usually Huawei doesn't do a good job, or Honor doesn't do a good job with their AI stuff, so I personally like to turn it off. Now let's go ahead and power on this device. The phone is set up and we're finally in. And the first thing that I notice is the UI. It's your typical Honor or Huawei themed UI. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It has big boxy icons, very reminiscent of the iPhone setup, but it just doesn't look as good. And I understand a lot of people in different markets like this style of setup, but me personally, I think it looks a little bit too junky. I mean, for example, the settings menu, good luck trying to find everything. Everything's tucked away into something, and it has a bit of a learning curve to find what you're looking for. The second thing, the display. It's not a bad display. 1080p, it gets bright enough outdoors, it's totally usable, totally nice for a $200 smartphone. The other thing, the camera, 16 megapixels, which is actually pretty impressive if you really think about it. We're gonna do a test right now, and you guys are gonna tell me whether or not you like the photos. So the first one is portrait mode. That will give you a blurred background. And the second one is a regular photo. Now with Huawei phones, what they usually do is they smooth out the skin, making you look like a porcelain doll. Now for me personally, I like things to look as naturally as possible, and if I want my skin to look smooth, that's something I can do in post. Now a lot of you are probably saying, Matt, do a sound test, shut up! I want to hear what this phone sounds like. Well, there's one speaker, it's on the bottom of the device, and this is exactly how it sounds. So sound is pretty typical for a budget device. It doesn't get super loud, it's not better than something like the OnePlus 6, but it is loud enough for a budget's phone. The next thing, haptic feedbacks on this device is terrible. Imagine a bee who has no buzzes left in his life. He's depressed, he's about to die, he just lets out a couple more. That's exactly what the haptics in this phone feels like. The next thing, there's a 710 Kirin chip inside of here, so it's not as fast as the Kirin 980, but it's fast enough based on my first impressions. Now, time will tell exactly how smooth this phone performs, but you can buy a version with 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, or 64 or 128 gigabytes of storage. Now, if that's not enough for you, you do have that external storage in this device. You can pop up a micro SD card in here, boost it all the way up to another 256 gigabytes. The last thing I want to mention is battery life. We got a 3700 milliamp battery inside, which should net you anywhere from a day and a half to 2 days of use. So that pretty much wraps up my first impressions of the Honor 8X. I gotta say, it's a beautiful piece of hardware, especially for the price. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll make sure to answer them in my full review. If you want to continue the discussion, hit me up on Discord. Follow me behind the scenes for Instagram. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.